Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we've got a really fascinating and honestly, highly practical explainer lined up for you. We're going to expose some costly tire maintenance myths that are frankly quietly draining drivers' wallets every single day. If you've ever followed all the rules, maintained your car perfectly, and still found yourself replacing expensive rubber way earlier than expected, well, you absolutely need to hear this. To understand just how deep this goes, let's start with a highly relatable scenario from our source material. Picture this. You just paid $800 for a brand new set of premium tires. They're beautifully rated for 60,000 miles. And you do everything perfectly, right? You check the pressure every month, you rotate them every 5,000 miles, and you keep them inflated to exactly 32 psi because, hey, that's exactly what the sticker on your car door says. But then, at just 18,000 miles, the tire tech pulls you into the bay and drops a bomb. They are completely done, worn down to the wear bars and absolutely not safe to drive. So you ask him what happened, and the tech asks what pressure you were running. You confidently say, 32, exactly what the sticker says. But the tech just shakes his head and says, there's your problem right there. Wait, what? That perfectly followed, strictly maintained 32 psi door sticker was actually the fatal mistake? That's right, following the sticker is what destroyed an $800 set of premium tires in a fraction of their lifespan. Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1, the door sticker lie. Here's the hidden reality the industry definitely doesn't rush to tell you. It all comes down to a stark contrast in engineering intent. That 32 or 35 psi number printed on your door jamb, it was never actually calculated for optimal tire wear. No, it was calculated by liability lawyers covering a worst-case scenario. We're talking 5 adults packed in the car, the trunk stuffed to the brim with heavy luggage, merging onto a highway at 75 miles per hour in the sweltering August heat. That sticker is just showing the absolute minimum pressure needed to safely support the maximum rated weight without blowing out. But think about your everyday reality. It's usually just you, maybe one passenger, and, a few bags of groceries. Your car is carrying hundreds of pounds less than that maximum rated capacity. So what actually happens when you run that worst-case 32 psi in a lightly loaded, everyday car? Well, you get what we call the underinflated balloon effect. Because the tire isn't being pushed down by all that maximum weight, the sidewalls flex way too much, and the center of the tread actually lifts slightly off the pavement. All of the vehicle's weight abruptly shifts to the outer edges. Those outer edges are now forced to do all the gripping and all the wearing, while the center tread just kind of hovers there, completely untouched. That is exactly why you'll see tires go bald on the shoulders insanely fast, while looking perfectly fine right in the middle. Which brings us to Section 2, finding the correct pressure. The real solution here is actually found on the specific tire you purchased, not the car door. And finding that sweet spot, it's incredibly simple math. Step 1, just walk out to your car and look closely at the tire sidewall, the actual rubber itself. You're looking for the words max press or maximum pressure. For standard passenger tires, it usually says something like 51 psi. Okay, step 2, calculate 10 to 15% below that maximum number. That simple little calculation gives you the actual optimal pressure for even wear, the best fuel economy, and the sharpest handling. So, for a 51 psi tire, that sweet spot usually lands right between 38 and 42 psi. Now, I know that sounds super high if you spent your entire life trusting that 32 psi sticker, but let's just look at the calculation for a second. If your tire is engineered and rated for a 51 psi maximum, and you're running at 40 psi, you're at less than 80% of its rated capacity. You are absolutely not overinflating anything. You're just running the tire safely much closer to where it was actually designed to perform optimally. All right, let's move on to Section 3, beware false safety nets. So setting the right pressure is really only half the battle here. The crucial thing we need to realize is how we mistakenly view the TPMS, that little tire pressure monitoring system light on your dashboard. Most drivers just kind of assume it's a helpful daily maintenance reminder. Well, it is not. That light is actually programmed to trigger when your pressure drops 25% below the recommended level. So if your sticker says 32, that light won't warn you until you hit 24 psi. And guys, 24 psi is not a gentle reminder, it is a full-blown emergency. At that level, your stopping distance is dramatically increased, and the heat buildup from those flexing sidewalls can literally cause a blowout. Think of your TPMS like a smoke detector. It doesn't beep gently when your cooking gets a little smoky, it screams when the house is already fully engulfed in flames. And this brilliantly illustrates why relying on that dashboard light is just so dangerous. Physics alone is naturally draining your tires. For every 10-degree drop in outside temperature, your tires naturally lose about 1 psi just from the air contracting inside. So a 50-degree seasonal swing, like going from a hot August summer to a freezing December winter, that safely drains 5 whole psi from your tires without even coming close to triggering the TPMS light. You could drop from an optimal 40 down to a dangerous 30 by January, causing daily damage to your treads, and your car won't say a single word about it. Oh, and then there's the classic dealership upsell, the nitrogen fill. Dealerships and tire shops love to charge you, say, $40 to fill your 4 tires with pure nitrogen, promising you less pressure fluctuation. But let's look at the actual air makeup. Regular, completely free air is already 78% nitrogen. When you pay that $40, you're really just buying an extra 20% purity. In a normal passenger car, that extra purity retains maybe about 1 psi better than regular air over an entire year. So you're literally paying for this tiny sliver of extra purity that makes absolutely no measurable difference for your daily commute. Crazy, right? Section 4. Who really profits? If running the sticker pressure destroys tires faster, who is actually making money off this widespread lack of awareness? Well, the beneficiaries are pretty clear. First, you've got the manufacturers, who use that low sticker number to protect themselves legally from those worst-case liability scenarios. Second, the tire shops, who are more than happy to ring up $800 when you come in for an early replacement. And third, the dealerships, who bundle those useless $40 nitrogen fills and TPMS resets right into your routine service appointments. This entire unified system basically relies on you maintaining the status quo. But your ultimate weapon against all three of them? A simple $15 digital tire pressure gauge used manually just once a month. Let's move to and see how this builds into our final point. Section 5, the cheap tire trap. This whole lack of awareness builds into literally the most expensive trap of all when it's finally time to buy new tires. The budget option always looks like a total no-brainer, doesn't it? $60 versus $140 for a premium tire, but let's ground this in some concrete math. That $60 budget tire is engineered with a cheaper rubber compound, thinned out sidewalls, and less silica. Basically, it breaks down incredibly fast. It might only last 25,000 miles, which makes your true cost about 24 cents per mile. The $140 premium tire, on the other hand, is designed to last 60,000 miles, bringing the cost down to 23 cents per mile. Yeah, you heard that right. The budget tire actually costs you more money to drive on. But honestly, here's where the false economy becomes genuinely terrifying. Budget tires consistently stop 20 to 30 feet longer on wet roads, from 60 miles per hour compared to premium tires. Let that sink in for a second. That is the physical difference between stopping safely behind the car in front of you and crashing right into it. That massive performance and safety gap, it doesn't show up anywhere on the budget price tag in the store, but I promise you it will absolutely show up in a police accident report. From blindly following the door sticker, to trusting a dashboard light, to buying cheaper rubber that literally costs more in the long run, this whole industry functions by hoping you never look past the price tag or their laminated signs. By just taking 5 minutes a month with a $15 gauge and doing the real math on your tire purchases, you can completely reclaim control of your vehicle's safety and your wallet. So, I'll leave you with this to think about as we wrap up today's explainer. After seeing the hidden mechanics of this industry, what expensive mistake do you never want to repeat again?